Good evening. I am Jean-Louis Cohen, a transatlantic architect and historian. I have conceived this year for the Museum of Modern Art the exhibition Le Corbusier, an atlas of modern landscapes, which closes on September 23rd in New York, before traveling to Spain early next year. The museum had organized in the past several exhibitions on Le Corbusier, beginning in 1935, but had never devoted a full retrospective revealing the breadth of his creativity. Architect, city planner, painter, furniture designer, writer, publisher, and amateur photographer and filmmaker, he astonished by the power and unconventional freedom of his ideas. My goal at MoMA has been to give an account of his extraordinary variety of practices. As the guest curator in charge of the show, I had a complete freedom in the selection of the works exhibited, which have been led by a dozen institutions, beginning with the Paris-based Le Corbusier Foundation. I have put the accent on drawings and original models, and also reconstructed several interior spaces with furniture. The main point was to document Le Corbusier's response to the question of landscape, the observation of landscapes, the siting of his buildings in landscape, and the design of anti-landscape, like Chandigarh in India. The trajectory of Le Corbusier's life, which took him on a 6-decade journey from the Swiss mountains where he was born to the Mediterranean where he died, and his adventures on 5 continents, provided the guiding structure for the narrative. From the very beginning, a critical aspect was, in my perspective, to complement the drawings, the paintings, and the 3D rooms with a fresh, original, pungent vision of Le Corbusier's buildings as looking at and as installed in landscape, conveying an impression of the sites as they are today. I could not think of a more appropriate person to take charge of this project within the project than Richard Pare. I've been in contact with Richard for nearly 20 years, first advising him on his itinerary throughout Russia after the Soviet age in search of the built heritage of constructivism. His voyages of discovery led to Lost Vanguard, a memorable and very big book for which I wrote the introduction, and to an exhibition at MoMA in 2007. And later, to the show Building the Revolution, which has traveled to England, Germany, Spain, and this country. Its presentation in Atlanta at Lumiere accompanies Richard's lecture at the Carter Presidential Library. Richard has brought to Le Corbusier and the Russian avant-garde all his skills, his knowledge of art, of history, his curatorial talent, his literary elegance, and of course, his mastery of the art of photography. He had initially deployed these skills when he was the founding curator of the Canadian Centre of Architecture in Montreal, for which he created probably the best collection of architectural images worldwide, offering also in 1984 the masterly anthology Architecture and Photography. After all these projects, one could expect from him a revolutionary vision of Le Corbusier's oeuvre. The cycle of photographs he has made so far, which will be continued in order to become a new, marking book, shows how powerfully, how skillfully he had captured with his lens the strength and the poetry of these sites from India to France.